My name is Sophie and today I will be ranting about Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Listen, there aren't any books on my TBR because nothing excites me anymore. I want to read fiction, I want to read good fiction, I want to read about intrigue and betrayal and shit like that. I have not felt happiness since Six of Crows and I stand by that. This book got so many, like unbelievably many good reviews. It's like a 4 point something on Goodreads. I don't think that's difficult, but it's highly rated. Holly Black is also a very popular author and a very popular fairy author, and so I thought, you can't go wrong with this book. It seems to be something that's up my alley, just, I don't know, a hot prince that's kind of evil. Sign me up. I was so disappointed in this book. I read it in one sitting, and when I was done, I was just sitting there like, what the fuck did I just read? If you see this bruise, because I talked all over my hands, I slipped on my floor and fell and then hit my arm on my desk, and that's why there's a big ass bruise. I get this book and I look at it, first impressions. I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's not that big, that's fine. I don't need to read fucking 500-page book every single time. Oh, I see a tree, I see a crown, it makes sense. Cruel prince, makes sense. And then I see a bug. Right here, a little, green bug. And I'm thinking, oh my god, does it have anything to do with the book? Fairies? With insect power? Whatever the fuck I was thinking, I was just like, oh my god, there's a bug, it must have significance, as if it's on the cover. I'm already yelling, but it has no significance. I'm not saying that everything you put on the cover should be relevant, but if this cover is so minimalistic and you put a fucking green bug here and it doesn't mean anything, I'm gonna be mad. Then I look at it a little longer, I see this little circle in the top corner, which is not a sticker, it's actually on the book, I can't take it off. And it's praised by Leigh Bardugo, who we all know, and she says that this book is a lush, dangerous, dark jewel of a book. Already this was where it starts, where I was reading that and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What is a dark jewel of a book? Someone tell me, because I don't know. Why the fuck are you pulling these metaphors out of your ass? Then I flip the book around to look at the back, because I just got it and I'm so excited. Then I look further down and I see it has praise from Victoria Aveyard, who wrote the Red Queen series, which only the first book is good in that series, so don't bother. Victoria Aveyard says, Holly Black is the fairy queen. I mean, thanks for the statement, but I don't really know, like, am I gonna buy this book because Victoria Aveyard said that she's the fairy queen? I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry, this is not enough. If you put praise on a book, why do you put praise on it that could have been taken from anywhere? It sounds like Victoria Aveyard tweeted this or said it in an interview once and someone was like, oh my god, she said this, we gotta put it on the book so we sell more. Then I go further down and the series is called the Folk of the Air series. I cannot tell you after reading this book why it's called the Folk of the Air. They never talk about air. I don't know what air has to do with any of it, but maybe it just sounded cool because folk sounds like kind of medieval and shit. I don't know. I look further down right here. I see it's by Hotkey Books and they give me a few key words, what is to be expected of the book. And it says assassin, betrayal, and lover. I will not comment on any of that because this is bullshit. So now that I've looked at everything except the synopsis, I read the synopsis because I want to know what the book is about. Right away, I am just forced to read about the main male character, who is Cardan. This is a little excerpt from the book, and the main character is called Jude, and she goes, Cardan is even more beautiful than the rest. I hate him so much that sometimes when I look at him, I can hardly breathe. So already this Cardan guy, who I don't even know the main character's name yet, I just know Cardan, he's forced on me. I read the synopsis, I'm like, oh no, Jude's parents were killed, whatever. And then the last sentence of this fucking synopsis is, and looming over all is the arrogant and charismatic Prince Cardan. Now I know the main character is Jude, and then there's a character called Cardan, probably the love interest. Now I'm starting to read the book, right? I got it, I realized all of these things, and now I read it. We have the main character, her name is Jude. I don't know her last name, I don't care about it. And she is a human, and she lived in a human world with her family, with her twin sister and her older sister, who is Fae, and she lives there with her mom and her dad. It's amazing, you know, just a little family, and they get killed, which isn't amazing. They are killed by her mother's former husband, whom she had her sister with, the Fae's sister. I'm pretty sure that the guy, his name is Maddox, that he has green skin. I think it's mentioned twice, but honestly, I kept forgetting. I kept forgetting that any of these people are Fae, because nothing that they do is Fae-like. Like, nothing that they do is different from humans, in my opinion, except that they wear dresses instead of jeans and t-shirts. Maddox takes the sisters, all of them, because apparently they're his responsibility because of Fae shit. I don't know, you know, I don't fucking know anything about Fae. And he takes them and he raises them along with the Fae in this fairy world. Fairyland, I think it's called. I hate that it's called Fairyland because that makes it sound like a children's book. Again, I'm sorry. I think this was a prologue. We get into the actual book. We get flash forward in time. Jude is now however old she is. I don't think it's ever said how old she is. It's never said when this takes place. She says she's born in 2001, like November 2001, which makes me older than her. So I can totally identify myself with her, obviously. Jude just complains so fucking much. She wants to be like the Fae. She wants to be one of them. I fucking get it, you know, but telling me about it like over and over again, just shut the fuck up, bitch. You are so annoying. Also, what I hated was she sees her mother and her dad get killed by Maddox, and still she doesn't suffer trauma from it. The way it's excused is by the author saying that Jude just kind of, like, she doesn't think about it. That's why she doesn't have trauma. She just pushed it to the back of her head and she doesn't think about it, and that's why she's fine. I don't really think that's how trauma works, but sure, like, let's just not talk about it because it doesn't further the plot. Let's just have her rest with her trauma, like underlying trauma, because it's not there. She grows up with this killer that killed her family, and she saw it, and she learns to love him in a certain way because he does care for her, he does raise her. If you see a gentle side of the abuser, you feel sympathy for him. I think that makes sense, but then not talking about the trauma at all and just excusing it with her being like, oh, I don't think about it, I never think about it. Boring. The first thing is a ball, because we are in a fairy world and they wear dresses, and so they have balls. And we're introduced to this cardan guy that we got to know from the synopsis. Very, like, just forced on us. Cardan is the prince of the king of this fucking fairyland. He's the high king. He's not just the king, he's a high king, like a high lord, you know? Cardan, I fucking hate him. I'm sorry. Cardan is just rude for no reason. He comes to the ball and he's, I think, the 6th or the 7th child of the king, and so he's not really, like, no one cares about him, and he's just known to be always drunk and always cruel, which is why it's called the Cruel Prince. Just so you know, he's cruel. She says that many times. He's cruel. He's cruel. He's cruel. Cruel Prince. Don't forget it, because he's so evil. Oh, I hate him. Oh, shut the fuck up. And then we're also introduced to his little gang. So he has 3 friends, and they're like the mean girls. The first friend is called Lock. Lock in German means curl, so I imagine he has curly hair. I don't know how, like, what he looks like though. I think he has red hair. He is the one that's kind of not that cruel. He's kind of nice. He doesn't really do anything. He's just there. Then we get introduced to the other guy. His name is, I don't remember. Something with V, like Valerie, no, Valorian or something, just Val. His name is Val. He is the one that loves, like, hurting people. He loves bloodshed and shit like that. I don't know why, but he just does. The girl in the group is something with N. I don't know. I never tried to pronounce her name when I was reading. I was just reading over it. I read her name. I was like, oh, it's her. But I never tried to pronounce it in my head. So we're just call her Regina, because she's the girl and she's really fucking mean. So she's Regina. We get to know that Cardan is really cruel in this scene already, in this ball scene, because he rips the wings of some fairy or pixie, whatever. I don't know the species because she never explains anything about fairyland. I never get any explanation for anything. She just assumes that I know about her fairies. I only know about Sarah J. Maas fairies. I'm not gonna know about yours. Cardan rips the wings of this fairy, and this bitch Jude, I was like, when I was reading this, this is the first couple pages of the book, I was already like, what the fuck, bitch? She thinks to herself, I don't know if fairy wings can regrow. It's been 15 years since this man killed your parents. So, I don't know how old she is now, like 17, 18, 19. And you don't know if fairy wings regrow? I feel like if you live with fairies all your life, you should kind of know about that, you know? There's another thing. Later in the book, she gets up in the night to pee. It's explicitly said she has to pee. So she goes and takes a piss, and then she thinks to herself that it's so embarrassing. She's so embarrassed to pee because she's never seen a fairy pee. She's never seen a fairy pee. She doesn't even know if they pee. And she's so embarrassed by it. What the fuck? Girl, I don't know like what kind of issues you have, but they seem to be severe. Just so much happened while Jude was at school, and she never learns anything, apparently. All she goes to school for is to be mocked by the mean girls. They throw dirt on her food, or they, I don't know, make fun of her and her sister, but whatever, you know? The whole time I was just thinking, please get over yourself. Because I don't, like, it's never explained why the mean girls hate her so much, and her sister, her twin sister. It's never explained why they are so hateful towards her. I just don't know. They're just cruel for no reason. They're just rude for no reason. It was so annoying because I was always like, where does this hate come from? Just because they hate humans? But that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of like a weak excuse. Jude, she really wants to become a knight for the High King because she thinks that's how she'll find her place, and she doesn't want to be protected just by Maddock, you know, her adoptive father. She wants to be someone herself. She wants to make a name for herself. She wants to be taken seriously by the fairy. And so there's this tournament, right, takes place, and Jude is like, hey Maddock, can I please fight so I can become a knight? And he goes, no you can't. And she's like, oh, I'm so mad. And that's it. She fights in the tournament, but honestly, I don't remember it because every time this bitch fought with a sword, it felt so rushed. Every time she does fight, it's just like, it's like half a fucking page long. And I just don't believe that she's good. I also don't understand why she wants to become a knight. Why she's so in love with the, like, strategy and bloodshed. She just is Jude, you know? She just loves killing or whatever. I don't know. She just wants to be a knight because that's all she's got going for her, but she doesn't even try anything else. She says, I'm not good at playing instruments, so I can't be like a musician for them. But is that all there is? Like, I'm sure there's something else you can do. Kind of taunts the mean girls back, and she salts their food because apparently they don't eat salt. For whatever reason, I don't know. I just wonder how she did that. How she was able to just salt their food without anyone noticing. At this fucking tournament, she also stands up to Cardan and talks back at him. And he's like, oh my god, she talked back, fucking bitch. But I don't, like, I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. Talks about, this is in the beginning, and then it's never talked about again. Again, something that's made to be important and then never mentioned again. Her finger, like, the top of her finger was bitten off when she was younger. And I don't know, I don't remember by whom, but that person told her to not tell anyone. I think it was a servant, actually. I don't remember. She's not supposed to tell anyone because he'll eat her or something. I don't know. This bitch really didn't tell anyone. I just am, like, what excuse did she come up with for missing part of her finger? Oh, you know, I cut myself with a sword. And everyone's like, okay, we agree, you're right, we just believe you. I feel like everyone should be more suspicious of her because fairies can't lie and humans can, and so if I were her, I'd just be lying all the time, honestly. Who's gonna stop me? No one. So it's supposed to be like very important that her finger was bitten off. We get this story that it was, and she wasn't allowed to tell anyone, And then it's also mentioned that she like goes over it, like the missing finger, as a habit, nervous habit, but she never does this. She does it once and then never again. So apparently she's never nervous. Her oldest sister is named Vivi. Her name is Vivi. She hates Maddox with a burning passion for killing her mother, because he's her dad, obviously, but she hates him and she pisses him off all the time on purpose. And she loves the human world and she wants to ultimately live there. She even has a girlfriend, so that was like, no one made a comment about it, and it's just so refreshing that she's just bi. She's just bi, and that's it. You know, no one's like, oh my god, I didn't. She's just bi, and that's it. And that's really fucking nice, because if there's any representation at all in other books, it's always like, oh my god, I didn't know you were. Yes, I am. Oh no, what? Like, we don't need all that. Just be bi. Vivi's girlfriend doesn't know that she's fairy, because she kind of, I don't know what she does. She glamours herself or whatever, so she can't see her ears. I don't fucking know. You know, I don't care, because there's so many things introduced, like this girlfriend, and then she plays no pod. She has no pod in this fucking book. Jude and her sister, they meet the girlfriend once, and then they talk, and they have to make up lies about their family, because she's like, oh, why am I not allowed to meet your parents? They're fucking dead, bitch. After the tournament takes place, right, she isn't allowed to participate as a knight, like becoming a knight, but she's able to, or allowed to fight just for fun. It's a big event. The Fae are watching her, the fucking royal family. She comes home and then she gets a message by one of the servants that the prince is waiting for her in the study room or whatever, in the office. And she's like, oh my god, Cardan, I just stood up to him, now he's come to visit me. Cardan. Bitch, why the fuck would Cardan come visit after you fucking talk back to him? Like, to talk back to you, did he just think of a retort and he now has to tell you like 20 minutes after it happened? I don't fucking know what she was thinking. It's not Prince Cardan, it's his brother, Prince Dane. And Prince Dane, I don't know, like, I don't know why this happens, but he goes, I want to make you my spy, because you're human and you can lie, and so that's why you're gonna be a spy for me. And she's like, okay, I guess, like, whatever, I can't be a knight, I'll be a spy. And then he puts a geese on her, which, what the fuck is a geese? A geese basically means that you get a protective spell by a fairy, but you have to do something in return. Jude accepts. She's like, I'll be your spy. Never done any spy work, never done anything, but I'll be your spy. I don't know what profit he sees in it, honestly. Just get another human and put a spell on her, not use this girl. Oh my god, I don't know why he went through all that for himself. But the prince puts the fucking geese on her, and it's something like, you will never be controlled by anyone. No one can put a spell on you. No one can command you to do anything with magic except for me. Really? That's boring. She's now protected from every spell, because fairies can put spells on humans. I don't know if they can put it on other fairies. Never explained. Whatever. Like, she gets made fun of some more, and it was just like, she went to school. Whenever she went to school, you already knew that she was gonna get in some shit with the fucking mean girls. They made her eat some fruit that's not poisonous to her, but it's like a drug to her. And then she got high off of it, and she was like, she just thought that everything was really funny, and she couldn't control herself. I don't know, you know, it was just, I was getting sick and tired of this whole Mean Girls arc. Then this bitch goes on to her first spy task. She breaks into another Prince Balakine or whatever, his house. She breaks into it. Big plot is that the High King is gonna step down, and she has to ensure that Prince Dane is gonna be the next High King, because he wants to be High King. And his brother, Prince Balakine, they are going like toe to toe. Like, they both want the favor of their dad to become the next king, because it's not the firstborn, it's just whoever the High King thinks fits best, so that's convenient. She gets into the house, and first and foremost, she gets into Prince Cardan's room, because they live in the same house. She didn't know that. I don't know how she doesn't know that. She is looking at the books, and there is a copy of Alice in Wonderland, and she takes it because she's like, oh my god, I love that book, I'm just gonna steal it. Whatever, you know, just steal it, bitch. Take it, it's yours. And then she realizes it's Prince Cardan's room, and she goes and looks for Prince Balakin's, because that's the one she has to spy on. She goes into his room, and then of course he comes, and she has to hide under a desk or a chair, and Prince Cardan is with him, and they like play pretend to fight, and then Cardan is like, I don't want to fight, like, whatever, this is boring. And Balakin is like, you're so weak, bitch, get on your knees. And I'm like, oh, is this what I think it is? Cardan gets whipped by his brother, or by his servant, whatever, but he gets whipped. You get the point. I don't understand why every single troubled villain love interest has to always be whipped. Think of any prince, think of any male character in YA that's like a villain kind of. He was probably whipped at some point. I don't get why he was whipped, whatever. And then Jude was like, oh my god, no, I can't. Oh my god, I should feel happy that he's getting whipped because he always makes fun of me, but I feel bad. Bitch, shut up, you're so annoying. Throughout all of this, you know, the gang consists of 4 members, and there's Locke, the curl guy, and he's whatever, and then all of a sudden he starts being nice towards Jude, and she just goes with it. He's part of the mean girls. He's part of the gang that makes fun of her every single day, that makes her life so depressing, and then all of a sudden he starts being like, oh my god, I think you're kind of sexy, and she's like, you do? The romance between them, I didn't feel it at all. They talk, and he's like, oh my god, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Then stop being friends with them. Why are you dating the best friend of your abuser, of your bully? What the fuck? And he stays friends with them? That was so weird to me. Why she fucking went with him? I feel like Jude has such a strong hatred, or supposedly has such a strong hatred towards Cardan and everyone else, Regina and Val. And then Locke comes and is like, but I'm not like them. And she's like, okay, I love you. And then we get the reveal that her twin sister is gonna get married when the coronation of the next king is happening, and that the person is gonna propose to her at this coronation. Or coronation? What is it called? I don't know. She's not allowed to say who it is. And I read that and I was like, okay, it's Locke. It was Locke, but this bitch Jude, in her head, is like, please don't be Cardan, please not Cardan. I don't know what makes this girl think that her twin sister, who's also being bullied by these people, is gonna marry Cardan. She shows her sister the copy of Alice in Wonderland that she got from Cardan, that she stole from Cardan. She didn't get it. A note falls out of the book. She opens the note when her sister is gone, and it's just her name written over and over again. It's so funny to me because she's like, oh my god, he must really hate me, like I can see it by how hard he pressed the fucking ink on the page. It's like ripped through. Oh my god, he hates me so much. What the fuck kind of plot is this? This guy apparently hates Jude so much that he writes her name over and over again on a piece of paper and then keeps the note in a copy of Alice in Wonderland instead of just throwing it in the trash, burning it, I don't know, ripping it apart. He's like, I'm gonna keep it. I've written this note. I'm just gonna keep it. Like, I hate her so much. Fuck her. Fuck Alice in Wonderland. I have never hated someone so much that I wrote their name over and over again on a piece of paper. And I don't understand how this is supposed to show me that he really hates Jude. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, it doesn't. Next, she's at school again, and now they're in a tower, and she falls asleep or something, and everyone is away. She's alone in the room. They just let her sleep. Really nice of them. Val comes in, part of the Mean Girls, and he's like, fuck you, I hate you, I compel you with magic to jump out of the tower. And she doesn't do it, because obviously she's protected by this fucking geese, you know? And he's like, oh my god, what? I'm gonna kill you. And then she stabs him. She stabs him in his side, because he attacks her. The same night, she goes to a party at Locke's house, and they almost fuck. But they don't. So I think they don't. Maybe they do. I don't think they do. She doesn't have a dress because she's still in her bloodied clothes from when she stabbed Val the morning before that. So she gets to pick out a dress from Locke's deceased mother. And this bitch conveniently picks the dress with a little, oh my god, I don't know how you pronounce it in English, with an acorn in it. And she's like, huh, that's kind of weird. I'll keep it. She doesn't say anything. She's like, I'll keep that. It's weird, like, kind of quirky. I'm kind of quirky. Fits. And this is where the real plot starts, with this acorn that she finds. Acorn, I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak English. This is something that Locke's mother left before she died, and she activates it with a pin or something, and it's like a message, a hidden message about a child from the High King that she wants to keep a secret or whatever. I really didn't care, but you have to imagine, it's just Mean Girls up until this point, you know? And that's like 200 pages into the book, and that was kind of boring. She goes on another spy task, and she sees this servant girl in Prince Balakin's house where she was before. And she's like, oh my god, I have to save her. Oh, I was so mad at it, you know? She's like, I have to save this girl. She's under a spell. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know where she is, because she was like in a dream world in her head, but she was working. She was compelled to work. And I was so mad that she was trying to save this girl. Until the girl said that her name was Sophie. So I make an appearance in this book. She saves her. And by saving her, like, she puts salt into her mouth so the spell wears off. And Sophie is like frightened. She doesn't know what's going on. She was kidnapped and put into this position, and she's like overwhelmed. She's panicking. She's in shock. This bitch Jude goes to her sister Vivi, and she's like, I saved this girl. Can we bring her to the human world? Like, it's gonna, like, whatever, just drop her off. And Vivi is like, sure. And then they travel to the human world on horses. I don't know how that works, by the way. I have no idea how the worlds are connected. So Vivi takes Sophie on her horse, and then Sophie just is like, peace out. And she drops off the horse because she puts stones in her pockets and she wants to kill herself. So that was a really brief appearance, like 2-3 pages, but it was worth it, you know, because my name was in the book, and that's really cool. She gets in trouble right after this happens, like the next morning, and she thinks it's because of her saving a servant and the servant going missing. But it's actually because Prince Dane found out that she stabbed Val. And I don't really know what else he expected her to do, because this guy was going to kill her if she didn't stab him. So I don't really know why this prince got mad. But in order to prove that she's loyal to the prince, she has to stab her hand. Like, clean through. And she does it. And no one asks her afterwards what happened. No one asks her. No one asks her, hey, what happened to your hand? Or, is your hand okay? Or anything. She just cleans through her hand, doesn't get healing for it. She just lives with it. You know, I mean, she could have made up an excuse. But she didn't. She just suffered. I don't know if it's the same night or later, but this Val guy sneaks into her room to kill her. And she kills him in return. This is one of the things that aggravated me the most about this book. You are trying to tell me that this human-ass girl kills this grown-ass fairy with magic, and then hides him under her bed, where no one sees him, no one suspects anything, and then, later that night, she buries him next to the estate. No one notices this? No one, like, I don't even know the time spent in this book, because no one, like, is suspicious that this guy is gone all of a sudden, after she just had this little stab with him at school. No one, does this bitch not have any family? I mean, Val, like, also her, but does Val not have any family that's like, oh my god, where's our son? Apparently not. How is she able to bury a grown-ass man in her backyard? This little bitch, this human bitch, you mean to tell me she was able to knock him off her balcony and then drag him into a hole, bury him in a hole that is not suspicious at all, and no one knows? Ugh, whatever, you know what, I'm so mad. The coronation, basically, Prince Dane is supposed to become king, and then Prince Balakin is like, no, I don't want you to become king, and then Prince Dane is stabbed, and he dies, and then everyone else in this family just dies, kind of like Game of Thrones style, a Red Wedding, I think, of the episode, or whatever, you know what I mean, like, that kind of shit. Everyone is, like, kills themselves or is killed, Because the way it works, in order for someone to become High King, a family member from the same bloodline has to crown them. And so it's very inconvenient that almost everyone is dead out of these 7 or 8 siblings. The only people still alive are Prince Belican and Cardan. And Cardan is nowhere to be found. Jude finds him and takes him as a prisoner, like, to the spies and makes a plan. Ugh, whatever. This is so annoying. Cardan promises to obey her for a year and a day, but no longer than that. And so he has to do what she says. If she orders him to do something, he has to do as she says, because that's just like some magical promise. She leaves Cardan in this spy base to make a plan, and then she goes home to find out that this mysterious lover that her sister had that was supposed to marry her is Locke. I'm gonna be completely honest, I did not understand this plot with the marriage. I thought it was so unnecessary. It was so rushed. Like, all of a sudden, this girl, Jude, is in love with one of her abusers. And he's really weird the whole time, and her sister isn't telling her who's gonna marry her. And then her sister, after her lover makes out with her sister and, you know, almost gets it on with Jude, she's still like, okay, I want to marry him. I love him. This fucking sister, honestly, she deserves nothing but to die in the next book. I hate her. So Maddox says, after he hears about this, I don't want you to marry him. I don't think he's a good guy, which obviously he's not. And then the twin sister still goes ahead and wants to marry him. She stays with him. I don't know why. I don't know how desperate this bitch is, but really annoying, unnecessary. This acorn was talking about a child, and that child is still alive, and it's actually Jude's brother. Supposedly brother, because it's not obviously her brother, but he was raised as her brother, and no one knows about this except for Maddox and her, and obviously her stepmom, and yeah, that's it. That's all the people who know about it. This little guy, I think he's 7 or something. He acts like a 3-year-old. I don't like Oak. He's so annoying. Oak is his name. He is able, because he's from the royal bloodline, he's able to crown the next High King. So that's very convenient. Jude's plan, she tells us, she wants to have Cardan crown Oak and then disappear with Oak into the human world until he can become a full-on king, like reign by himself without any help. From the moment I read it, I was like, this is so stupid. What the fuck? What does she even think? You mean to tell me she wants to crown a child and then just disappear with the child and leave the fairy world to itself and then return a couple years later and be like, here's your king, and everyone's gonna be like, yay. Jude goes to Cardan to tell him about her plan, and they argue back and forth like, oh my god, why do you hate me? Like, what did I do to you? I didn't do anything. And then Cardan is like, I hate you because you have a family that loves you and I don't. And Jude is like, well, I hate you because you bully me. And then Cardan is like, I also hate you because I can't stop thinking of you. And then Jude is like, oh my god, I'm gonna make him really hate himself. And she kisses him and they make out. I was reading that, I was like, this is the love, like, interest that I was promised? I don't know how this is making him feel bad about himself, that he's kissing her and he wants to fuck her. I don't really know how that works. I don't really know what the plan was on that part. She also says, I saw your note, where you wrote my name all over. And he's just like, okay. He doesn't talk about it. He's like, okay, you got it. I don't know how you got my book. I don't know how you got that specific book. Whatever. I didn't feel the tension between the two of them, the sexual tension, the romantic tension at all. And then when you don't feel that tension and the kiss just comes out of nowhere, you're like, what the fuck, why are they kissing and like really hot making out? Also, Cardan has a tail. I don't know where the tail is positioned, if it's above his ass or coming out of his ass. It's not explained. I'm curious. She tells him the plan, and obviously he can't do anything about it because he promised to be her, like, servant or whatever. Jude goes to this camp after telling Cardan the plan and making out with him for some reason. She wants to convince them that they should support a new king. She's gonna crown at this banquet, whatever the fuck, however you pronounce it in English, where Belican is supposed to be crowned. She's gonna crown someone else and she wants their support. Jude has no charm. She has no ability to charm nobility, and still they say yes. She doesn't even convince them. She's like, yeah, I have a new king. And they're like, okay, we hate Belikin. We'll just agree. Literally, like, so convenient, so rushed. Like, okay, like, one person turned her down, one queen turned her down, and the others were like, I guess we have nothing better to do. And then we get to this banquet. Basically, she turns up with Cardan. And she's like, hey, I have Cardan, Belikin. Now you can be crowned. And they eat and they feast. And then, blah blah blah, plan happens. And then there's this big plot twist. Because Oak gets the crown, the little boy that was supposed to be king and disappear in the human world. He takes a crown and he puts it onto Cardan's head and he swears Cardan in as king. So now it's not Oak who's king, but Cardan. This second book is called The Wicked King. Did you think I was gonna believe that Oak is a wicked king with 7 years old? It was so frustrating because, like, she's like, the only way that Oak can become a good king and no one will rebel is when Cardan is king. You really think he's gonna give up his place on the throne 7 years down the line for your younger brother after he's been king for 7 years? The plan was stupid, and then at the end, she's in the human world with Vivi, her girlfriend, and Oak, and I think her twin sister married Locke or whatever. We don't care about Locke and her. They have no significance in the story. They don't do anything. No one does anything in this book, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. There were some lines that were just so stupid where I was questioning whether, like, Holly Black even thought things through. There was one scene where there is a, like, seamstress at Jude's house and they get dresses made. And then the seamstress, the stepmother says, oh, Jude, the seamstress wants to measure you first because you're the youngest. What does that have to do with measuring? Like, just measure anyone else. Why, what has being the youngest to do with anything? I don't know what Seelie and Unseelie fairies are. Never explained. They're like Unseelie Kingdom, Seelie Kingdom. Sounds nice, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. Does it mean wild? Does it mean dangerous? Never explained. It's never explained how these worlds exist next to each other, the human and the fae world. I have no idea if any humans have knowledge about fairies. I don't know exactly how they get to one another's world, like magical horses, but really, like, that's it. Something else that bothered me, and I'm gonna be quite honest, like, Cardan is the love interest, and it's supposed to be like this weird attraction between them where they hate each other but they want each other. Nothing makes me want Cardan. I don't want him. She can have him, but I don't want him, and that's the issue. I don't have high standards, but when I read on the book, on the back that it says charismatic Prince Cardan, I was confused because this bitch is not charismatic. He's just rude. He makes fun of Jude the whole time. He doesn't do anything nice to her. I don't understand how they're horny for each other. Just because he's pretty? I feel like she has higher standards. He never did anything explicitly, like, he was abusing her verbally, definitely, but whenever he bullied her with the Mean Girls squad, he put dirt on her fucking food, or he threw her into a river, but he didn't hurt her, actually. He didn't slap her. He didn't, but he was still being abusive, so I don't really know how this is supposed to be turned. I just wish that Cardan wasn't so forced on the reader and so explicitly in the limelight, because I think that would have just made the book so much better. This was just so poorly done, honestly. Fucking Cardan is forced on me already on the back of the book. I get to know that he's so cute and charismatic, but where was the charisma? Maybe maybe it was cut out of the book. Every scene where he was nice, it was just cut out. I don't know. Will I continue reading this? I have no idea. If I want to do that to myself, because what even was this book, honestly? Like, I don't care about the world, I don't care about the characters. I'm not gonna read it. Why would I continue reading it if I don't care about anyone? What the fuck am I saying? Like, why am I even considering it? It promised me assassin, betrayal, and lover, and it gave me all of it, but, like, really in a whack way. There was no, like, is the assassin supposed to be Jude? She doesn't assassinate anyone. That's it for this video. If you want to see more rants, you can watch any video I've uploaded so far. It's all ranting. It's just what I do best and what I like doing. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's very long. All of my videos are very long. I talk a lot. I don't know how to talk less. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!